Hello, welcome to the Best Practice Network presentation on the Diploma in School Business Management at Level 4. This is an introduction for prospective participants. My name's Dean Boyce. I'm the Director of CPD and Accreditation at Best Practice Network, and I'm joined today by my colleague Val Andrew.
Hello, I'm Val Andrew. I am currently Programme Manager for the DSBM programme Level 4 with Best Practice Network. I am an experienced school business manager with around 25 years experience in the sector and have been supporting CPD in various guises for the profession since 2005.
Thank you, Val. So the aim of the Level 4 DSBM is to provide existing, newly appointed or aspiring school business professionals with the knowledge, skills and behaviours required to be highly effective in their role, to support the roles of others involved in school business management, to provide a platform on which to build ongoing professional development and to help you progress your careers.
So a couple of key points there. The SBM role continues to evolve and is quite diverse in its range of responsibilities depending on the type of structure in which you're working. So in maintained schools, academies, federations, multi-academy trusts, etc., the role can be very different in different settings. This DSBM Level 4 programme is designed to equip you as learners with a range of key skills and competencies in various different disciplines that underpin the SBM role in a variety of settings, and it provides a really solid foundation on which to build a robust and effective career within the profession.
Thank you, Val. So what do we think of the benefits to you as individuals? So from our experience of delivering DSBM for many years now, we believe that DSBM helps you to manage resources efficiently, effectively and sensitively, helps you to develop understanding of the purpose of business management in an educational context, helps to evaluate efficiency and effectiveness of business management operations in a school, and helps you to develop an understanding of the wider context of school business management in a diverse range of settings. It provides an excellent foundation for an effective school business management career and is underpinned by the ISBL professional standards.
And in addition to those bullet points on the slide there, it gives learners access to a new network of like-minded professionals with whom you can engage and share learning experiences and share best practice. For those who are aspiring to the role, it provides a valuable opportunity to develop your own profile as a potential school business manager for the future. For those who are newly appointed to the role or relatively new into the role, the programme provides an opportunity to consolidate what you already know and to use the materials you've got access to through the programme as a foundation on which to build knowledge, understanding, skills and competencies. It also provides really valuable evidence to support your own performance management and appraisals in school. The programme, as Dean says, is underpinned by the ISBL professional standards, and all of the diagnostics within the programme are based and linked back directly to those standards.
Thank you again. But there are also benefits for the schools and the employers that you work with. By gaining DSBM, we believe the schools benefit as well because they will have professional staff who will enhance management operations within school. They will have staff who understand the importance of their role and its scope. Staff who develop expertise in various disciplines. So you may become more of an expert at leading support services, leading a team, or you may become more of an expert at financial management or procurement or HR or marketing or infrastructure. And you may be part of a network of schools whereby you use that area of expertise across schools rather than just within a particular school. And importantly, it allows head teachers and senior leadership to focus on teaching and learning priorities, to have a good school business manager in place who can take a lot of the bulk of that work from them.
There is another added benefit really for schools here. The programme does have the potential to build confidence, motivation and encourage proactivity in you as an individual, and in turn that has a really positive impact on school improvement overall.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to just use this slide to talk about the two routes that are available, because we recognise, of course, that there is an apprenticeship route to school business professional level 4, which is a different route to our DSBM that we run with Institute for Leadership and Management, ILM. And we just wanted to go through a few points that we believe you should consider when making that choice between one or the other. And we're not saying that ours is the best, everyone should do ours, and the apprenticeship route is not the route for you. Not at all. The apprenticeship route will be the right route for some of you, but we believe the DSBM route would be the right route for some of you as well. So we're going to go through some of these points for consideration. And the first one there is the duration of the course. And our course, the DSBM, is a 15-month course. You can fast track, you can finish earlier if you want to address that and get your work in early, but it's a 15-month course in general. Whereas the apprenticeship is typically a 15 to 18-month on training program, and then once you've completed the training and demonstrated the knowledge, skills and behaviors, you go through Gateway, and there's an endpoint assessment period post Gateway whereby you have to undertake assessment activities externally against the assessment criteria, and that can take typically 2 to 3 months from being Gateway approved through to final completion.
Okay, as Dean says, it's really helpful. There's such a lot of choice out there in terms of CPD, and to have this iteration of some of the differentials between our programme, our level 4 programme, and the apprenticeship is quite helpful, so that you can make sure the choice is right for you. And another one of those comparisons is about the hours and type of training. So with the BPN level 4 programme, you are able to adopt a more flexible approach and maybe plan to study independently at a time that suits you best. Whereas with the apprenticeship, you have the advantage of having some release time. There's a requirement for the schools to release you with 20% of time off the job training, which means that you have that specific time allocated out of your working day when you can undertake that training. So depending on what suits you best, that might be something that of interest to you in terms of a comparison.
Sure. And the third bullet point here is about the cost and resource implications for schools, because yes, clearly our programme, there is a cost involved, £1,350. The school does need to pay, or the individual might pay for the DSBM. And at first glance, it looks as though the apprenticeship is free, because your school can use the apprenticeship levy to fund your place on the course. However, just worth noting that there may be significant cost implications for schools who go down the apprenticeship route. Potential release time to ensure the 20% off the job training might need to be factored in. Time required to mentor or to support you through the programme. Time required to assess your progress against the KSBs before you go through Gateway. And again, release time for any endpoint assessment activity. So just worth having a chat and considering, okay, it may be free at source, the apprenticeship, but what are the cost and resource implications in terms of the school being required to support you and ensure you get the 20% off the job training.
Another comparison here is about the scope of the programmes and the units of study. So the BPM programme focuses on 3 mandatory units, and we're going to have a look at those in a bit more detail shortly. In addition to the 3 mandatory units, you have a choice of 1 other. The apprenticeship route focuses on 6 knowledge areas in a very similar way: finance, procurement, HR, governance and risk, marketing, infrastructure. The DSBM programme has a dedicated mandatory unit on leading support services, so there is an emphasis there on leadership through that particular module. And I'm just going to jump ahead to the bottom bullet point here and factor that one in at this point, because with the BPM programme, although you have to make a choice of an optional unit, 1 from a choice of 3, there is an opportunity when you've completed the course, if you want to register with us to study an additional unit. So you can top up your qualification, if you like, with the additional learning if you choose to do so.
Okay, thank you. Next one's the assessment methodology. So ours is a portfolio of documentation and explanation demonstrating how assessment criteria have been met. So there's a range of assessment criteria. As you complete the course, you will be doing activities and tasks that we set you to do in school related to your job. Documents arising from that work you do will be uploaded to an e-portfolio, and you will explain how the documentation shows you've met the assessment criteria, and we sign it off. And if it's not met, we go back and say we need to add a bit more, and it's sort of we working in tandem together and build up your e-portfolio to a point at which for each unit of study all the assessment criteria are met, and therefore it's signed off and you're awarded that particular unit. So we would argue that the work that you produce is very much work-based, very much naturally occurring, and is a more straightforward assessment methodology for the apprenticeship. Whilst you're on your 15 to 18 month training program, you are demonstrating to your employer and the training provider that you're meeting the KSBs. When they are happy that you have demonstrated that, you go to endpoint assessment. Endpoint assessment on the apprenticeship route is writing up a 2,000-word report on your workplace project, which you must have undertaken whilst on training. So during that 15, 18 months, you'll do a project, and then you write it up in a report for endpoint assessment. Excuse me. You will also do a presentation on that workplace project report. You will also have an interview with an assessor around 4 particular knowledge areas, and you will undertake a simulated task where I think it's an hour and a half. You are given a title to focus on, and you prepare a report to governors based on that simulated task. So there is that endpoint assessment which follows the on-training period. So there's no reason why you as a DSBM participant with us cannot undertake a workplace project as part of your DSBM training and use documents that arise from this, but it isn't a requirement and the project itself isn't assessed.
Okay, so the next bullet point talks about the level of the award, which is actually not a differential here because the level of the award is the same for both of the programs that we're comparing here. So it's really a case of, and I can blend this into the next bullet point if you like, Dean, because it's a case of looking at your experience, the characteristics of you as a learner and the specific needs of both you as an individual, but also the needs of the school, and making that decision about which is the best program that suits you. So I think that just sort of summarises that comparison between the 2 programs that you have options for.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not saying that everyone should do DSBM and the apprenticeship isn't the right route. Again, if you do have some experience already, if you're not looking to cover all the units, if it's difficult in terms of looking at the requirements for on-training program, release time, etc., you might be confident as an individual learner using online, the DSBM may well be the best route for you. And similarly, if you are in a position where you're new to quite a lot of this and your school can enable you to have that 20% training, and you need to be a sort of someone who can go through all the units, and absolutely the apprenticeship might well be the best for you. We want to give you a choice, obviously, and happy to support anybody who wishes to proceed with our DSBM course. So what does it actually entail? Well, we talked about the units of study. So as Val said, the DSBM route has a particular unit around leading support services in the school. So there's a lot about leadership styles, teamwork, delegation, etc. And there's a large focus on that. Plus finance, plus procurement. Those are the 3 mandatory units that you must undertake. And then following that, you have 1 optional unit, and you can choose from HR, school infrastructure management, or marketing in a school. And might be worth saying at this point, Val, that this is the full program. The full program is 3 mandatory units plus an optional. However, we do provide opportunities for individuals to sign up for just one of them. So if you were looking to be the finance person across a network of schools, perhaps, and you only needed or wanted to do finance, we can offer you the opportunity to study finance only. You don't get the full award, but you would be awarded 10 credits at level 4, as shown there in that diagram. Or you might want to learn about marketing. You may already have a level 4 qualification from quite a few years ago when marketing wasn't included, and marketing may be something you do a lot of now, and therefore you might be interested in just doing the marketing unit as a separate standalone. We can enable you to do that. Okay, Val, do you want to talk through the example outline, please?
Okay, so this is an example of a programme outline with an October start. We talked about the period of study that this programme normally is rolled out over a 15-month period, and that's replicated on this timeline on the slide. Just to talk through one or two things on here. So you will see that the 4 key units, the 3 mandatory units and the optional unit there, are represented by those arrows. And the expectation is that through the course timeline, you will be studying 2 units in tandem at any one time, replicated by those arrows. As part of your studies of those units, we will offer 2 unit-specific tutorials throughout those units, and those are online tutorials. All of this programme is online. They're online tutorials that last around about 90 minutes each, and we tend to vary the days and times that we offer those, so that if people have got specific commitments on specific days, then we are offering you the opportunity to be able to join those live. All of our sessions online are recorded, and you will have access to those recordings beyond that particular day. So you've got access to those throughout the period of the course to go back to and refer to. So when the October cohort starts, we start with the induction session, which is a 1-hour online session. Prior to that, you will have had access to our online network, so you will have had the opportunity to log in and have a look around the system, and we'll talk you through the basics at the induction sessions to help you get started with your learning. In addition to the unit-specific tutorials, we offer 1 or 2 other online tutorials and some one-to-one individual sessions. So the purple squares on there represent our group support workshops, which are 1-hour sessions that we run on topics that are designed to support your studies and to support your learning techniques. The first one is usually focusing on things like time management. So we're conscious of the fact that you're juggling a new programme of study along with all your other commitments. So we look at some introducing some time management techniques that might work for you to help you be able to navigate that additional responsibility. The second one that we offer looks at, for example, a range of analytical tools and techniques that will be useful, as part of your studies, but also on an ongoing basis in terms of your practical roles in school. The 2 assessment tutorials are fairly self-explanatory. We look at the assessment requirements, we help you understand assessment criteria and what is required, so we offer 2 of those. And we also offer the little blue diamond sessions that are on there at 2 key points through the programme. The opportunity to have a one-to-one coaching mentoring session with the tutor, and those are usually done online through Zoom or Teams, and it's an opportunity really for us just to talk to you specifically about issues that you may have in terms of meeting the assessment criteria or looking at evidence that's available at school, those sorts of things. So that summarises really the level of support and the structure of the programme. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Dean?
I would add that there is an ongoing relationship that develops in the e-portfolio. So as the programme progresses, as you can see there from November through to December the following year, you are uploading submissions to your e-portfolio, and your tutor is giving you feedback on that. So they are assessing your submissions as either met or partially met or not met. They're feeding back to you, asking for more, prompting for more, encouraging for more. If it's not fully met yet, then you resubmit more. And it's that ongoing dialogue, which I think it also forms a key part of the program, because it's not just what you see in front of you on the screen when you are working with peers and with tutors. You do have that ongoing discussion, and that professional relationship does form between you and the tutor as you go along as well. I think that's important to stress. The next slide just shows the same thing, but for a summer starting course. So this would be exactly the same principles, but starting with induction in May, and the length of the arrows is because it's different because it takes into account school summer holidays. But yeah, that's the general program outline. Okay, Val, do you want to talk through studying a unit?
Absolutely. This is an example, it's a suggestion about a route that you may want to adopt as a learner in terms of tackling each particular unit. It's an idea that's based around successful journeys of previous participants, but you do have the freedom of choice, so you can tailor the way you approach this learning experience to your, more directly to your needs. So it's not that we're insisting that this is the actual process. So just very briefly, we do recommend that before you start to study a unit, you look at the unit diagnostic, which is linked back to the unit, the ISBL professional standards. And the rationale there is that the course materials are written in a way that can accommodate learners with varying levels of existing experience. So, for example, if you are a learner with very little experience, you can achieve learning gain through using the materials online. If you are experienced in a particular unit, there are opportunities within the materials for you to expand that knowledge and understanding with some depth and breadth on that particular topic. So we talked about participants probably studying, for the most part, 2 units in tandem. There are ongoing assessment of learning objectives carried out throughout the e-portfolio that Dean alluded to a few minutes ago, and each unit will be complete once you have completed all of the assessment activities within a particular unit. And we expect that that process will take about 6 months. So just looking back at that left-hand part of the diagram, once you've done the diagnostic, the outcome of the diagnostic will help you decide how much of the additional reading and research you need to go into to help you develop your knowledge and experience. There are a series of learning activities on the virtual learning environment that you can participate in to help you develop that learning. As we mentioned when we looked at the programme outline, there are online tutorials for you to attend, and if you aren't able to attend those live, then you can have access to the recordings and listen back to those any number of times. You'll also have access to any slides that we use and any other materials that are relevant. And finally, you will be completing mainly school-based activities and submitting those on the e-portfolio as part of meeting the assessment requirements. Just a final comment there, a lot of our participants decide to retake that diagnostic when they've completed a unit, and that's quite helpful as well, because that provides you with tangible evidence of learning gain, and that can be quite useful in your performance management or appraisal meetings that you have at school.
Thank you, Val.
Okay. Would you like me to talk to this one as well?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this image really sets out the extent of the support package that we offer to you as a learner on this programme. We offer a circle of support, so you are there at the heart of everything that we are looking to provide on this programme. So just working around from the top, We provide a dedicated group tutor who will provide you with that general support and guidance through the programme. It's that tutor that you will be having the individual one-to-one sessions with, and that tutor will probably be the same person who will be having that online conversation with you on the portfolio that Dean referred to. That's like an online conversation that we have, so you will have that online engagement with your group tutor. We do sometimes use unit specific tutors. So if, for example, we might decide to bring in a marketing expert to deliver the unit specific tutorials in that particular section, that person may also participate in some of the assessment of the activities within that unit as well. Our assessors provide both formative and summative feedback as you progress through the various units of the programme, and that feedback is designed to guide you with advice on technique and how to develop your work and how to expand things so that you can perhaps delve into some of the depth in a particular topic. We have an excellent team back at BPN headquarters, one of whom is our programme coordinator, and she is there to help you with any administrative support or anything else that you might have problems with, any paperwork. There's also an excellent IT help desk. I can't speak highly enough of them. They're on hand to help you if you have any technology issues. They're invaluable in terms of the support that they offer. I have to say, from recent experience, rarely called upon, and I say that with fingers crossed, but as the course progresses, our IT team are the ones who provide you with access to the recordings from various online tutorials, copies of the slide and all the other materials that you're going to need to support your learning journey. And finally, you have access to a group of practitioners who are, like yourself, embarking on this programme of learning. And that is a really key part of the communication network that you have access to as a learner on this BPM programme. They are like-minded professionals in similar roles, or they're aspiring to similar roles in the school system, and you have the opportunity to engage with them through virtual discussion sessions, through online discussions that we're running live through our Zoom tutorials, and it allows you to develop that network of SBM colleagues at both national and local level. So that's a summary of the support package that we wrap around you as a learner on this programme.
Thank you, Val.
So this next slide talks about the online access that you have. The virtual learning environment that we have is called Canvas. So that is your base for the period of the programme. And once you log into Canvas, you will have access to all of the online units. You will have access to any resources that you need for tutorial events. We do provide you with reminders of the dates for those tutorials so that you can pop them in the diary. We provide you with assessment guidance and support through the electronic portfolio. We have a series of discussions online that relate directly to elements of the programme for you to engage with, so you can have online conversations virtually. And we communicate with you as tutors via that online Canvas VLE. That's the base really for any communication with us as tutors, but also with each other as participants. And I think it's probably appropriate just to mention here that the online engagement in those discussions, that's not an accessible part of the programme. And so we hope that by stressing that that's not an accessible part of the programme, that will encourage people to engage in a full and uninhibited manner with those facilities.
Super, thank you. So as we mentioned earlier, for in comparison to the apprenticeship, there is no endpoint assessment requirement. You don't go through Gateway and then have to do endpoint assessment tasks. And we've mentioned this e-portfolio, and I won't read them out, but there's a whole list of bullet points there which to sort of indicate the types of documentation, the types of evidence that you would upload to your e-portfolio. And really it's about, think about what, there's two elements here. One, we may set you tasks to do as part of your course, school-based tasks that you go back to school, you carry out the tasks, and the evidence generated, you submit your e-portfolio. But in addition to that, if you're involved in updating policies, creating new forms, changing, developing, implementing, evaluating different systems, liaising with external stakeholders, looking at audits, anything that you do as part of your role within the school that generates documents, those documents can be uploaded. And as long as you can explain to your tutor why you believe this document or these documents show how the assessment criteria have been met by you, our job is to assess whether that makes sense or not. Yes, that does show you have demonstrated the assessment criteria. So this is just an indicative list here. It's not finite. There are a whole range of documents that you will, over a course of time, submit to your e-portfolio.
So we've talked a little bit throughout the programme about the ISBL professional standards and referred to them. Just as a reminder, as a practitioner or potential practitioner, you may already be aware of these professional standards. They were developed a few years ago by the Institute. They're a set of non-mandatory professional standards, but they're used to underpin the roles of school business professionals throughout the sector. And their most frequent use is to underpin professional development. They can also be used to support and underpin performance management in a practical way and recruitment of school business professionals. And all of the assessment activities on the BPM programme link back directly to the standards. Just a little point about the image on the left-hand side. So we've talked a little bit about the units of study that feature within both of the programmes, both of the BPM programme and the apprenticeship programme. And I think this one sets this out quite nicely. And if you look at the section in the middle of that diagram there, everything sits around the core of leading support services, with the wraparound on the outside talking about value and ethics. And that's really quite important, I think. So as you progress through the different units in the programme, it's quite good for you to be able to link back to that wheel of professional standards and understand which element of that you are actually involved in progressing at any one point in time.
And we have a two-way relationship with the Institute for School Business Leadership, such that if you are a member of ISBL and you apply to do our DSBM, we can offer you a 5% discount off the full fee for being a member of ISBL. And on the other side of the coin, if you are not a member of ISBL, but you complete the DSBM with us, when you've completed DSBM with us, or for being a student with us, and you did wish to join ISBL are able to offer you a 5% discount on your ISBL membership for your engagement with us on the DSBM program. So why learn with us? Well, we believe that our program is an independent, externally accredited program, externally accredited by ILM, Institute for Leadership and Management. It links directly to the ISBL professional standards for school business professionals. So we believe it does have some advantages over the apprenticeship route. That depends on the individual and the school. It might well be the route for you. And certainly we have cohorts each year that do choose the diploma route. Provides opportunities for peer networking on a local and national level. Yes, it requires an all-inclusive investment of £1,350 plus VAT. That's the cost of the qualification. And as we mentioned earlier, there are options to study the follow-up individual additional units, i.e. you complete 4 as part of the program. If you wanted to study the other 2, you can. And equally, if you didn't want to do the full program but wanted to do individual units, that option is available on application as well. So cohorts usually run from spring and autumn dates. Group sizes are usually 15, well, it can be 40 plus, it depends. The more number we have, the more tutors we use to support the participants. Program tends to run from 15 months from induction date. Applications are accepted online, so you need to visit bestpracticenet.co.uk and look for DSBM and apply through that. But please note, a head teacher declaration is required to confirm support. So if you have any questions, we'd be delighted to hear from you. You can contact cpd@bestpracticenet.co.uk, or you can contact myself, Dean Boyce, at bestpracticenet.co.uk. Other contact details will be available on the webpage where this presentation is being hosted. Okay, so thank you for listening. We hope we've given you food for thought around your options for professional development. I'd like to say thank you for listening and good luck in the future with whatever route you decide.
Thank you.